a manual device during charging and contact the crew member if the device can use mode or become charged. Smoking and the use of electronic cigarettes are not permitted in any area of the aircraft, including the lavatories.
Welcome to beautiful Sicily. Once again, I've been lucky enough to be invited down here to Italy to be part of this new press launch of the Tenere 700 World Raid 2026 model. After checking into the hotel and greet the other riders from the Nordics, we are welcomed to the main event where they take us through all the details about this bike and all the new key upgrades. We learned some of the history behind this model and some of the challenges the engineers had to overcome to make this model. It's also quite interesting to see the history of where this adventure thing started at Yamaha and where they take us in the future. And they also revealed at this event that in the next 3 years there will be 10 new models. They didn't reveal anything else, but there are for sure some really interesting thing coming in the upcoming years.
Well, it was a little bit late yesterday with dinner and presentation and everything. It's 6 o'clock. The breakfast is opening really soon, so we need to get going, and because I'm in the first group and riding starts at 7:30 this morning. So it's a little bit more hectical than it was last time, but yeah. Looking forward for a great day on the bike.
Dawn breaking through the clouds. No turning back now. Always dark before the light. But what a day to be alive. Feel the sun upon your skin. Crack the shutters, let it in. Time to open up your eyes. Oh, what a day to be alive. Life's a flicker, then it's gone. But if you listen to your heart, there's something beautiful inside. Oh, what a day what a day to be alive.
It's always the same. 20 euro is 20 euro.
Och i den här kurvan ska du köra i 20 km/h. Men det ska se ut som du kommer i 100. Ja.
After some really nice riding, it was time for lunch. And it's always nice to sit down with more experienced rider and get some insight in how they experience the bike. This is also the perfect opportunity to really compare the white and red version up against the black version. And I have to admit, I'm a huge fan of the new white and red combo, but when you see the black one with the golden rims live, it really stands out as well. And I think they have made a really good color choice with this model.
Well, see you later.
Everything for you, my friend.
That's the dealer. You're the tricky man.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I can make it. So have you done that on your not but I've tried to bikes, not yet.
What a fantastic day it was yesterday here in Sicily. It's safe to say we had a fantastic day on some really impressive roads, some trails, a little bit off-road, a little bit tarmac, and the bike didn't disappoint at all. They have taken everything, all the upgrades from the rally, and put it now into the world raid. So what do I think about the bike? First of all, the wind protection. You can feel a difference in the wind protection on the world raid compared to the T7 and the T7 rally. How it will affect you, of course, depends on how tall you are and how you sit on the bike. I find the wind buffeting to be less per tune or on this bike compared to my rally. But since I'm tall, I get the wind in my chest anyway, so it doesn't bother me. But it's something to be aware of if you are just in between those sizes. The suspension, they have done upgrades to the suspension. They have now made it from 43 millimeters to 46 millimeters. How good the suspension are, I'm not the best to define that. You can certainly feel that the bike is much more firm, and it handles really similar to my rally that I already own. And there's one thing I noticed the other day, and that is that the front brakes are steel-braided now. They have done something to the front brake. I don't think the front brake has been an issue on any of the previous models, but there are an upgrade to the front brake. It just clamps on in a different way, and I think that is a great update. With this new bike, we finally get cruise control, and the cruise control is really simple. It just push one button and you can set it or reset it from your previous setting. I like the way they placed, where you can reach it really easy, but it's not in the way so you accidentally bump it. It's just a press of a button and then you set it and you can go down in speed and up in speed. I really like this. I really wished I could get it on my rally. No, I asked the guys if this is possible to put on the rally. I'm sorry to say it's not possible because you need to upgrade the ECU and everything. So, or probably it could be done, but it's not just to upgrade the cluster and then you will have cruise control. It's more into it than just that. You have the same steering cluster as you have on the rally, but there's a couple of new features on this bike that are not on the rally. So like on this model, it's like on the previous models, you push the mode button, you go into the different menus, and some of this you can turn on and off in speed, but some other stuff you need to stop and be at a standstill before you can change. So you have the ABS on, you have the ABS rear off or completely off. And you have power control, that's the same on the rally as well. You have power mode sport, or you have power mode explore. That is a little bit softer. The sport one is a little bit more dynamic. And I like to ride it in sport all the time. You have traction control, street or off-road. And you have slip control, street or off-road. And you have brake control. And brake control, I think, is just another word for lean angle ABS. The same thing happens here. You go in here once, you set all the parameters you want, and then you go off. So if you want to put it in the settings you choose, you hold the ABS button, and then it goes into the last saved setting you had. And every time you turn off the key, it will reset. So every time you come to a stop, you take off the ignition, you just need to remember to hold the ABS button, and then it goes back to your pre-recorded settings. I like this. It's quite simple and genius, and when you get used to it, it works really well. The seating, it is more comfortable to sit on than the rally, for sure. I like the seating position on the rally. I noticed that I'm a little bit lower than on my rally, so my knees are a little bit higher, so I actually prefer the sitting position on my rally now more than I like it on this. But it's not uncomfortable, but there's a little bit difference. What about the tank? It is wider, and coming from the rally with the slim tank, it was noticeable the first time I went on the bike. It just said, oh, this is a wider bike. If you are used to the Norden 790, 890 or BMWs, I don't think you will feel any difference or whatever on this bike compared to those. But if you're used to the rally or the regular T7, it is a wider tank, so you will notice it. For me, coming from the World Raid to the rally, and now on the World Raid again, it just took me a couple of minutes when we started riding to just, oh yeah, this is the World Raid again. And it's more like when I ride a rally, I'm more in the bike in some situation when I'm sit down riding on gravel. This bike is I sit a little bit further back. And yeah, so again, I can't stress enough, if you are curious about this, go to a dealer and figure out, sit on it, test ride it if you can, and make up your own mind, because it's so individual. For me, I don't think it's in a way. I think it's really good to both be standing and riding and sitting and riding. And you can really lean in and get over the handlebars or over the front tire. It's not that wide, it's not that big. It doesn't look that big anymore. I'm not sure if it's just because of we are getting used to this design now. but I don't think it looked that so wide as the old generation. It looks more nimble, and yeah, try to have the sitting position in different angles so you can see that. Yeah, no problem.
Sorry,
No, it's no worries at all. I'm gonna use you. They have done some upgrades to the protection on the side. There are some inlays here. We kind of got that on the presentation yesterday. I will put on overlays on the screen so I can tell you better what the difference are, because I can't remember it on top of my head. Yeah, and of course you have the steering damper. That is upgraded as well. It is different. They have done adjustment to it. I'm not sure, I don't have the technical stuff about it, but I tried it yesterday on the very soft end and the really hard end. How can you provoke a steering damper if you don't pop wheelies? And I'm not skilled enough to do that. I saw some of the riders here did, and it was really cool to watch, but I'm not skilled enough to do it. But if you just sit on the bike and you try to wobble the steering wheel, or a steering wheel, like the handlebars, you can feel a little bit of difference. But again, it's there. How good it works or not, it's up to others to decide. They have done upgrades to the intake as well, as the same as they did with the Rally, but they have also shaved off something here, so it's not so steep. You are more into the tank, but the old seat will not fit this new model because they have done modifications or upgrade to this section. One thing I forgot to mention earlier was the upgraded tank. It has the same volume as the first generation, 23 liters, but they actually managed to make it 1.5 kilo lighter than the older version. So because the tank is built in aluminium, they have managed to lower the weight, and I kind of shaved off and made the ergonomics of the bike a little bit lean forward, so they're more planted in. So the same with my Rally that I have, they made upgrades to how the top heaviness or the ergonomics are. They managed to do on this bike as well. It is a question I get all the time. How do you feel the top heaviness of the bike? And yes, it is more top heavy than some other brands, but it is really not that noticeable. And no, I don't have the first generation of World Raid to compare it with, but it feels improved. It feels more like the Rally. It doesn't feel like there are 23 liters in this tank. And I think also it's a dual tank purpose, so you have 11.5 liter in each compartment, and that makes it easier for fuel not to slide around and make the bike more unstable in cornering or off-road riding or whatnot. So it has its purpose, and it's quite genius. And yes, if you need to fill both caps. For you, my friend.
Grazie mille. You're the tricky man.
Yeah. And if you fill only one, if you're in a rush or whatever, it will equalize itself when the fuel pump starts going. And yeah, and that is the same and similar with the previous generation as well. It feels like the Rally, but with the wider tank. So if the Rally is more off-road and aggressive gravel road machine, I feel this is more adventure touring machine in a way. Even if it's more than capable to do off-road, and it rides just as well as the Rally with the suspension and everything. Yeah, I think a lot of people are gonna like it. I think a lot of people are gonna want this bike when they've tried it for themselves. So yeah, there's probably a huge amount of details I forgot. I can add that in later. But I think the last question I probably will be asked a lot. So what about me now? Will I change my Rally to the new World Raid? Time will tell. I can't give you any promises. Who knows? Maybe.